They're gonna shoot.
Yeah,
somebody.
they were ready to roll, man. And so we were like, "Don't touch your pockets." Like, so we're just kind of like, "Oh shit." And so Chris slowly pulls out his wallet because he knows what's up. Pulls out his ID. The guy takes the ID, takes 2 steps back, and he's looking at the ID, and he laughs. He's like, huh, "Where are you from?" Chris was like, "I'm here from Omaha, Nebraska." And he kind of looks around. He was like, "We're at a tattoo convention," and he goes, "Omaha, huh?" Like that. Reads it a little bit more, flips it over, kind of looks at it. Hands the ID back to Chris, and he says, "Welcome to New York." And I said, "No, no, 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 no." I'm like, "Oh, hell no, man. You can't do that. Like, you know, you got all these cops standing around. You can just, you know, like, they're getting ready to draw, and you walk up to him, ask his ID, and then you walk away. That's crazy." And he goes, "Well, let me just say this. You're the same description as a guy that we had that cut a guy's head off last night on the railroad tracks." And he goes, "So we're looking for a guy that looks just like you."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh."
Yeah. All right. Which explains the extreme amount of cops. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he goes, "So you guys going to New York?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Have a safe night." And we're like, "I don't even know if I want to go now."
Yeah. I gotta go change my pants now.
Right. Hand me my brown pants.
Yeah. Oh man, talking about weird.
But that was the beginning of the night.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking 9 p.m. at this point.
Yeah.
This night
And so
goes.
we're sitting on the, you know, normally we're like trying to party it up on the ride there, you know, laughing and joking. We're all sitting there in silence, looking at each other like, did that just happen? Did they literally think you were the guy that cut some dude's head off on a train? That's, you know, I've been mistaken for people in my day.
Yeah.
Never has it gone that.
Never been the decapitator.
The decapitator guy.
That's it.
Hey, aren't you the decapitator guy?
Pretty impressive, actually. We're moving up.
Hey,
We're moving
Bill,
up.
it's the decapitator guy.
We've moved up to the decapitator guy.
Yeah, so that was pretty crazy.
Well, that would be an interesting amputation for somebody to undergo.
I don't think it works. I don't think it took.
But I'll tell you though, see that night ends up being so we get to that Limelight there, that party. We end up at a couple of places first. We end up at the Limelight probably about midnight, and it turns out to be up in the Belfry where the party is. And so the normal Limelight. Are you familiar with the Limelight at all, Steve?
No, not
Okay,
at
so the
all.
Limelight is a world famous New York City nightclub from the 80s and 90s. Okay, it's in an old Catholic church right downtown, right near where the World Trade Center was.
Huge old Catholic church, like some giant spires and the whole nine with the.
And at some
stained
point,
glass.
the church, you know, walked away, abandoned, whatever, and some club owner took it over. So it became a nightclub, and I mean, like, you know, house beats, you know,
Rave,
yeah, there you go.
hardcore dance.
Yeah, party, but so famous that without saying too much, pretty much, you know, the Club 54 feeling the drugs are rampant, the people walking around.
Crazy, yeah, crazy.
So amazing place for this party to happen. So we get there and we get directed up to where we're supposed to go, which is up in the Belfry, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, it's a room off of a room,
Yeah.
off of a separate bar.
I believe it's called the Priory up there, but, you know. So that's where we're sent, and we get up there, and we get to the top of the stairs. Now remember, there's about, out of the 14 people, I think 2 stayed back, so we got about 12 people. And we get up in there, and we get to the door, and you could see kind of into the party that's already started without us. And the person at the door says, "Listen, this is an all-black party. It means if you're not wearing something black, you have to take it off." And we're like, "I don't understand." They're like, "If you're not wearing black,
If you're not wearing all black,
yeah, you take off whatever's not black. So if you're wearing a purple shirt, you're taking that shirt
Take
off.
the shirt off.
If you're wearing nothing black, you're fucked. You're wearing wearing nothing.
and they literally want you to wear
Nothing.
whatever.
That's
yeah,
their goal.
That's it.
That's their goal.
Because it's a fetish party, mind you.
So obviously you do what you do. Now, thank God for us that in our business we all wear black. because
Yeah,
we're
I didn't have a black shirt on.
So
I had a gray shirt on.
I was lucky. I was all black.
I had to take my shirt off. So I'm sitting there. I'm the only jackass standing at the bar with no shirt on at the Limelight.
So that was kind of like the second funny part of the whole thing right there. But I'll tell you, that night got crazy from there. At one point, Corey Feldman, you're familiar with that actor? He was sitting at our table, you know, partying with us, and
Yeah,
you know, that night goes on until 4 or 5 in the morning.
I had a bet that I wouldn't punch Corey Feldman in the face. This is the old Ken, folks. This is the new Ken. I got.
Why did you want to punch Corey Feldman in the face?
I don't think I should have to answer that, Steve. I think it's Corey Feldman, for Christ's sakes. And he was wearing a big pink fuzzy hat, and like he walked past me. It was before we met him. He like walked past me down these long stairs, and like I stood there and looked at him like the dog with my head cocked sideways, like trying to figure it out. And I was like, Corey Feldman, and he turned around. He was like, yeah. He like nodded his head, like, yeah. It's like, what? Okay. Corey Feldman, folks. And that's right after that is when the other police officer walked up to me and he says, pardon me, gentlemen. Remember this?
Yeah, oh God, yeah,
pardon me, gentlemen. Do you guys know where I could score some ecstasy? To where I promptly replied, no, officer, I have no idea where you could buy some ecstasy.
And then you walk away laughing. No,
he was
officer.
standing there in his polo shirt, tucked into his pants with his belt, with a fanny pack. And nothing says cop in the limelight like wearing a fanny pack. Pardon me, gentlemen, do you know where I could purchase some X? Well, no, officer, I have no idea where you can buy ecstasy.
So it was the Catholic Church that became a nightclub. Do you think that'll happen in Notre Dame?
Oh, too soon.
What was he asking?
He said, do you think that'll happen in Notre Dame?
Oh,
I was like, too soon, Steve.
Bad joke.
Yeah.
Bad joke.
Oh, Steve. Oh, Steve.
Steve's home address
Come on,
is
nobody got
24
hurt. Nobody got
Oh,
hurt.
he does this every week. It's all right. Steve's known for throwing out the. I was like, oh, Steve, we're getting dark here, Steve.
Disclaimer at the end of the show.
I do every time. Yeah, thoughts of Steve. Yeah,
Whatever Steve says is not a reflection of what I think.
That's great.
Anything Steve says is not a reflection of anything.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a reflection of those thoughts that from the Best Damn Internet Show.
Why do I get disavowed by everybody I know? I don't understand.
I don't know, Notre Dame. Tell me. Why do you think that happens? Can those of you at home, can you see Marley? Can you see him in the photo?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah? What are they thinking? Does it look like a pinup girl now? So yeah, man, we pretty much talked about all kinds of stuff, man. Nice. They can see it pretty much. That's good. It'll be a nice reveal when we're done.
Close up into it.
So we talked about a lot of stuff. Talked about what's the first tattoo you ever did?
All right, good question. So, in my little mini circle, that's a pretty well-known fact. There's Smitty's aware of it. And, back in the day, you knew. So, my first tattoo kind of goes hand in hand with tattooing in general. So, I started out by layman's story. Just started out like when I was in the Marine Corps, kind of being over there in Bosnia and the Mediterranean, and there was basically no place to get Christmas presents, so I was doing drawings, portraits, stuff like that for people. And then when we came back stateside, I ended up in the armory, up in the cage, and doing that. People asked me to do drawings for them, so that was the basic start there. From that point, all the guys in the Marine Corps wanted me to tattoo because they didn't want to pay for tattoos.
Was you?
I was Cherry Point at that time.
Cherry Point.
Yeah. So they wanted free tattoos.
How many
so
tattoo shops were at Cherry Point outside of that
One.
time?
Yeah,
One.
just
There's
one.
there's one outside Main Side too.
That's it.
Wasn't sure.
That tattoo shop was owned by the Warlocks, 1% motorcycle gang.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Smitty would be quite familiar with this story.
Oh yeah.
And so
We can't tell that story.
that's right. And so we wanted, my friends wanted me to tattoo, and I did not. They wanted me to, do them so they could get free tattoos. And at that time, I was still very much about. I had like 3 tattoos. I wasn't into it at all. I was, thinking about going back to college when I got out, and that was kind of where I was supposed to go.
Yeah, because at the time it was a little taboo, so you couldn't go too crazy if you wanted a career outside of that, doing something legit.
There you go. So that's where it kind of ended up. So what happened was that the guys all that I was stationed with at Cherry Point, they all chipped in and they bought a little mail order tattoo kit out of the back of a magazine. I think it was about
Spalding.
Yeah, it was about $200. It was actually a Kaplan. Yeah,
Kaplan?
It was different ones. A Kaplan. Yeah.
Oh, you went the odd route. Everybody had a
That's it.
Spalding back in the day.
And so it was about $200 or so. So all right. So here's the story. So all right. So that kit came in the mail one day. We happen to be having a barracks party, and those of you that aren't military and don't know what I'm talking about, that just means you're going to have a bunch of people over hanging out in your barracks rooms drinking beer after hours. You generally have to have somebody watch for the guards so that you can get away with bad things and drink. And the bad things I'm referring to is that you would invite civilians up into the barracks to party with you, and those civilians are usually female. That's just kind of the way it was back then because there weren't very many females in the Marine Corps. So.
If you could get one to hang out with you at all, you're doing something special.
Yeah, you're pretty amazing. And I, for one, was not very amazing. So.
Right. I'm right there with him.
That's it. All right, so so we were sitting there having the barracks party, drinking some beer, and there was a couple of people in there, and one particular girl was like, hey, I really want you to tattoo me first. I think you're going to be famous one day. Whatever. She was really just talking it up, and she wanted a free tattoo. So, by the way, that's the way you get a free tattoo. Is just make it right. And that's it. So she wanted a cherry on her boob. So we ended up sitting there. Me and Smitty at the time. We're sitting there drawing this cherry on this girl's boob, and trying to
Which is half of the fun, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. Trying to think how we can make this tattoo look as good as possible. And so we draw this cherry on there. It takes about an hour to draw it on there. We start tattooing, and it literally takes about 2 hours to draw this cherry. To tattoo this cherry on this girl's boob. Now, here's the lesson learned. The tattoo was probably about 2 inches big, with maybe a little extra bit for the stem. But the girl's boobs were probably about 10 times that size. So.
Wow.
I'm going to say monsters. And the problem was, Steve, is that after we got done with this amazingly well done for our first time ever tattoo, and I say that very loosely, at some point later in the night, this
Just showing how famous he's going to be.
That's correct. At some point later on that night, that girl's bra comes off of her body. And the boobs, which were not in a natural position that we were unaware of at that time, because of our knowledge or lack thereof, they went to their normal position, which we'll call sag. And when they sagged, that cherry became, Steve, a chili pepper. So,
Yep.
my first tattoo was either a cherry or chili pepper, depends on what position the girl's in.
Or cherry peppers, however you want to tell
There
it.
you go. There you go. So there you go. And that is, I have not only told that story, but that story's been printed about a dozen times.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
Very true.
But I
Chris,
figured
what
I'd
is
let you
your
on know.
specialty?
What's your
What is
specialty,
your
Chris?
specialty?
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so, man, I'll tell you, back in the day, back in the 90s and early 2000s, I'm one of the artists that specialized in doing color portraits and textures back when people could not do that. I'm one of the people that kind of made that start to happen in our industry. Very few people could really pull that kind of thing off, and I happen to be one of them. So that's why I won so many awards back at the beginning of my career.
I'm gonna interject just a bit.
Yeah.
When he was tattooing, when he first started tattooing, well, when we were into that whole thing, black and gray was like the norm. Anybody who tattooed, the guys who were even amazing were doing like shades of gray. Color was kind of a novelty. It was kind of like, hey, threw red in there. Did you see it? Hey, my tattoo's got red in it. Like that was kind of it wasn't, people weren't perfecting it or taking it and making these, because a lot of times when they get color, after a while the colors start falling out, then it kind of looks like trash. Nobody really wanted to get color for whatever reason. And then comes a guy like Chris who was taking color and actually perfecting it. So go ahead.
Yeah, Ken's exactly right. And the thing was, there was only maybe a dozen of us that could even do it, And the thing, we all knew who we were. If you want to get crazy, there was 30 of us or 40 of us, but all the magazines for those first couple of years in the early 2000s to 2005, 6, 7, when you asked them who the top this was or that was, they would say the exact same 30 or 40 people.
Yeah.
It never changed. The list didn't change. Nowadays, you can go by state or by country on who's the best at something, but not back then.
Region.
Yeah, region.
Who's the best in the county?
Yeah. Now, back then, it literally was the same 40 people in the world, and no matter what country you went to, where you were, it was that same people. I think I held on to like the top 100. Man, I don't even know. See, in 2004, I won an award for being the best color artist in the world, and I think I held on to be in the magazines for the top 100 for like the next 6 years.
Yeah.
Before I finally got bumped off of going cigarette. You know.
But you look at it at that time, but that's 6 years. That's been the influx of the TV shows. So then you get the guys who never would have tattooed ever. I mean, the guys like Kearns, who were not that TV show, they were tattooing before the TV shows. So I didn't want to give you the wrong idea. I didn't want to insult them at all. But guys like them who were art majors, who were going to reputable art colleges and doing fine painting, and then decided that they wanted to be tattoo artists. So then you started getting these guys out, and that's where I think things exploded. And then, you know, guys, you see more guys doing work like Chris.
Yeah, that's right. You know, like we're saying, you know, you took it out of the bikers realm or the sailors and bikers realm, and it just real artists started wanting to kind of make the, you know, perfect the industry. You know, we wanted to change things and we wanted to do things better than other people could ever do it. You know, and I just happen to be
doing real artwork too. That's the other thing too. They're doing crazy.
I just happen to be one of those people that came in at the right time to do the right thing. You know, so
Right place, right time.
that's it. There's the answer to the next question. That's a long one. Woo!
Yeah, but it's yeah. So his specialty, it's funny. It's that to get to the color thing where he had to be good at everything, and then to put that into color, so he could become really, really good at color. And then everybody kind of became well-rounded, and he just kept where he was, because to get to that point, he had to. I mean, I want to say, like, the way you did color had a lot to do with how you had to do black and gray, and how you had, you know, your shading and all that stuff. That kind of led into you doing color the way you do, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you want to look at it as far as like on the art side, you know, back in the, you know, mid to late 90s, you know, I was one of those guys that was sitting at home and doing drawings and paintings every night. You know, that's what was changing. I'm one of those people that was doing that at the beginning, like people do now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just normal now. If you're not doing artwork and painting and all that stuff, you're not excelling. You're definitely not getting any better. You know, back then.
I liked that. I love that trend, to where you see a lot of the guys, you walk into a tattoo shop and they're not only tattooing, they're painting in their downtime or doing fine artwork. I love it. I absolutely love that. Or even lowbrow stuff. I love that stuff too. But that's cool.
All right, so that's what I got to do now. I need to clean you off. Take a second. We're gonna put some actual CBD oil on there, which is gonna take a little redness away.
Oh.
Yeah, and we got about 5 minutes left. I just got to do the highlights and stuff. That oil.
Anytime to ask any questions right now, folks. We got about 5 more minutes of tattooing left. He's going to do the cleanup, and then I'm going to show you guys.
I'm sorry, Chrissy Gonzalez wanted to know if it hurt.
No, not at all. Most of the time when I get needles dug into my skin, I just do it at home for fun.
I just love it.
So I'm gonna go home and do. I'm gonna go home and do more of
Somebody's
it.
gonna write you now an email going, care if you're a drug addict, I'll help
That's
you out."
it. That's it. No, it does. It is a controlled abrasion for anybody who doesn't know about what tattoo is. You got a needle that's going, I don't know how many revolutions, thousands of revolutions a minute that it's poking into. How many layers of skin, Chris?
I mean, you got about 6 or 7 layers of skin, like you know, scientifically wise.
Right.
So we're trying to get through about 4 or 5.
Right, 4 or 5 layers of skin. So if you think about, like, it's funny that I got a cat tattoo that if it would be considered like a controlled abrasion, like a big cat scratch. Kinda.
Yeah, I would say that.
Kinda.
A little deeper.
A little deeper than that.
I get a lot of people saying the tattoo's beautiful.
It's pretty good. This guy, I'm telling him he should tattoo for a living.
Yeah, and get a job doing
You
that,
should
man.
think about that.
Yeah, you should consider it as a career.
Well, what's that? What are you looking about, Chris?
Say again.
You're about out of here, right? Yeah, you are about out of here. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll finish up here for the last 7 or 8 minutes. But I want to say thank you very much. Chris is, if anybody doesn't know, he's like a brother to me.
Absolutely.
And I mean that. He's family. His mom is, I think her as like my mom. So I know you're watching at home. I love you. Glad. Thank you for tuning in. For all those, give a shout out to all the folks in Omaha, Nebraska. Thank you for tuning in. home state. Not mine, Chris's. And for all the rest of you, we want to thank you for tuning in too. I'll show you the tattoo as soon as he gets done here. Yeah, the CBD oil. It's I don't know.
Yeah, doesn't really seem to do anything, but it definitely. You know, the thing about the properties of that CBD oil is that it's just a nice, creamy, smooth product that cools off the skin a little bit, but it doesn't have any magic to it, which is where everybody thinks it's supposed to be.
Well, okay. So I have used a topical painkiller back in the day. And here's the thing, is that the way your skin goes is that it doesn't kill every inch of, it doesn't work over every inch. So it's like you'll be going under 2 hours of abuse and then you'll hit a spot that didn't take and you get all of that pain all at once. That's what I feel. I don't know if it's all like that or not. But that topical stuff, it didn't really work that way. I mean, it did work like 90% of the time. But the 10% it didn't work on, ow. It's like you felt like all of the pain all at once. Having issues?
Yeah, the needle got a little bit of paper towel in it, just a little bit of a little fuzz in there.
Fuzz.
So we'll just throw another one in there. But see, there's the magic of the technology, right? We just reach into this box.
And that one didn't work.
That's it. We pull out another one, and then boom, we're good.
It's not like you're going to call the guy and be like, one of them didn't work.
His name is Singling Toom in China.
Right?
That's who's making all the
Loon
money.
Foon don't give a shit about your
That's right.
10 cent
That's right.
or your 20 cent, whatever it is. That is crazy, though. It's the first time I've seen those, the snap-in needles. That is pretty crazy. Is that only for a rotary machine?
No, you can use the same thing. You know, this part here, the grip, if you want to call it, could be used in a normal old coil machine. So the technology is usable both ways. You know, the thing is that again with it's called a plunger. That you see it on that one. You see the plunger sticking out the bottom. That's like the old needle bar, but you just put a plunger on your old machine instead of the needle bar.
Wow, that's crazy. So that's what gives you the up and down motion?
That's it. That's that linear motion.
I will say it is, it doesn't hurt. I don't want to say it doesn't hurt because I haven't got a same tattoo on the other side to judge it with, but it definitely seems a lot smoother. It definitely seems a lot smoother. And the CBD oil does take some of the sting out. But I don't know how much it's supposed to take out. So, I don't know.
I don't know because I don't smoke CBD oil.
Right.
All right, here we go.
That's it. So the last things you're touching up with the eyeballs?
We got a little bit of white highlights everywhere. It'll take me about 5 total minutes.
White highlights. This is why everybody thinks white hurts the worst. I've heard so many jokes about that, or not jokes, people going, what color hurts the worst? Has anybody ever at home ever heard that? And everybody usually says white. And why does everybody always say white? Because that's the last color you usually use. So by that time, you're ground beef. And so when people say that it hurts the worst, it's just because that's the last thing that they're doing. Tattooing over something else. You know what I mean? It's funny. People are like, yeah, man, white really hurts bad. And I'm like, you really? Like that bottle of white that's got a whole lot of pain in it that the red just didn't have. I always thought that was funny. Sometimes I just let people go with that. I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. White. I don't even know why they make that color. It's so painful.
Yeah, I'm sick of that color. God.
Yeah, who would do that? So, Steve, can you see this at home?
No, I can't. So I'm looking forward to watching it replayed. It's my internet's
It's okay,
too
Steve.
slow.
What I was actually trying to say is that this actually, I got a portrait of you.
Yeah.
It's actually not a cat at all.
We've been lying this whole
Yeah,
time.
we've been lying this whole time, and the rest of the world sees it. So they always wanted to know what you looked like. They wanted to know what you look like because Steve's the anonymous guy. He's always on the phone and never. So this is what Steve looks like, ladies and
I never knew you were
gentlemen.
that much of a masochist.
Yeah. No, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what he looks like with the scar across his eyelids and everything. No, he's really missing his bottom lip like that. That's true.
Right, I gotta find a picture so they can flash on the screen.
What's that?
Find a picture of Steve so we can flash on the screen.
Oh no, I don't know. That's the thing. What I want to do is actually, that's seriously what I want to do is I want to find a different picture of a different Steve every week. So, right. So the first picture I found was the guy who was so blurry you couldn't tell who it was, and I was like, yeah, it's Steve. I think we should do that.
You know, on second thought, maybe I shouldn't watch the show afterwards.
What's that?
Find Steve.
Find Steve? Yeah, it's kind of like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. We'll have a Find Steve
or
every
where's
time.
Waldo?
Where's Waldo? Where's Steve? Steve's in Indiana.
Where is Steve in this image?
What's the weather like, Steve, in Indiana?
It's pretty warm. The weather's pretty nice right
Wait,
now.
who got a polar cyclone? Was that Indiana?
Not us.
What about Nebraska? I know they got hit really bad with flooding. Is everybody okay that we know in Nebraska? I hope you guys are all right. I heard about that. That happened to your mom affected by that at all, Chris?
I don't know. I know that I saw some pictures of Plattsmouth where my brother's kids are, and where my brother is, I should say. But I know that it looked just like it did a couple of years ago when I was up there, and we went out 4x4 in it. So I don't know if it's any worse or if it's that's just the way that region's going to flood out. You know?
Right. I did hear they opened a brand new. Do you know where the racetrack was in Omaha?
Okay.
They opened up a Harley shop right in front of that,
Oh shit.
and it was under like 6 feet of water.
Oh wow.
Like the shop was totally flooded. So they're saying it's pretty bad out there. For all those affected, we hope you're all right. Yeah, it's funny.
What color is your cat, Ken?
My cat is black and white.
Yeah. Oh, black and white. Okay.
A little tuxedo cat. Her name is Marley. I called him Marley because he won't shut the hell up. Sings constantly. He's my buddy.
My niece is named Marley. Don't
Oh, really?
don't say things like that.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Well, it's not like I knew.
M-A-R.
It's not like I said anything about your niece. Come on now.
Gee,
I really thought
Gee.
you'd named her.
real quick, just take your camera and get like 2 photos real quick before he breaks down those cameras from right where you are. Just right that there and yeah, quick, before he shuts down. Please.
Well, Chris, where can everybody find you? Go ahead and give it a lowdown of your shop and where you're at.
Right on. All right, so where I'm currently working right now, an owner of, is No Hard Feelings, which is a big bring too. No Hard Feelings here in Coral Springs, Florida, and you can find me either on Facebook under Chris Winston, or you can find me probably best on Instagram, Chris Winston Tattoo, or you can just go on the internet and find No Hard Feelings here in Coral Springs. I'm available on any one of those platforms. Instagram was always the best because that's the social media I choose to kind of sit on.
Yeah, and if you watch that, he's got the cutest little Instagram stories of him and his kids that I absolutely love it. It's very inspirational for me. Very, very cool.
Are those his kids I'm hearing in the background?
Yeah. Yeah, they're getting restless, so as soon as we're done, he's getting ready to take them home.
Yeah, wonderful day. I spend a lot of days with them. I only work about 3 days a week, and the rest of the days is mostly with them. And today was one of those days, and they're back there just having a great time with everybody here at the shop.
You hear him singing.
That's it.
That's awesome.
And that's Parker. That's the little 2-year-old girl. She's funny. She's clearly over it.
I hear you, Parker. She's hearing, Daddy.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm gonna have to bribe her with McDonald's or something.
So yeah, so you can find him right here in Coral Springs, right here on Sample Road. Amazing shop. If you guys haven't been to the shop, stop by and say hello. For those of y'all in the music scene who knows me, it's right next door to JD's. For those that go and hear live music in Coral Springs, so you'll probably see me there at some point in time. Check me out at the shop every now and then. It's been an amazing experience, Chris. I always love getting tattooed by you. I always love hanging out with you even more.
Always a pleasure.
So that's my boy. So for all those nice things, go follow him on Instagram if you aren't already. Make sure you go hit him up on Facebook. Do not hit him up on Instant Messenger and ask him about tattooing. Go to the tattoo shop to ask that.
You can DM me on Instagram though.
I'm telling you, go to the shop. That's what you need to do. But folks, we want to thank you very much for hanging out with us. As always, Livestream Entertainment. My name is Ken Hurley. This is Chris Blinston. My co-host is always Steven Sperling. Stay high, Steve.
Hello, Steve.
And we will see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from Coral Springs, best damn internet show. We'll see you soon. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Bye, folks.